The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast. Deka's just opened the show, and I don't think anybody heard that sentence because it could have been taken the completely wrong way. We're talking about the mixer, and Deka starts the show with the knob.
There's a lot of knobs there for four voices.
There's four. Four knobs, yeah. But yeah, we are back. There's been no Newcastle United match, but we're going to talk a lot about Newcastle United players, Besty, because this is what we do on this podcast. Sometimes,
it's not all we do, but
sometimes. So,
can we just check everybody can hear? We're nice and clearly at home.
Yeah, give a thumbs up if you can actually hear us, because this is probably one of the reasons we're late tonight, because we've got a mixer which we've had for how long, Mark?
God, forever.
It's 10 plus years, isn't it?
A long time.
It's about 10 years, and we've lost all the lights on it. So let us know if we can hear it. Yes, people can hear it.
That's good.
So great.
Unreal,
no idea how that's happened.
If you would like to help us buy some new bulbs for our mixer, then become a member.
It's done well, that though, Mark.
It's a
10 years. 10 years. So we're going to do things a little bit different. As you can see, it is all four of us this week. Myself, Kris, joined by Besty, Mark, and Deka is back from his trip to Rome.
Yeah, amazing.
How was it, mate?
Unbelievable. One of the best ones I've ever had, actually.
Yeah, I am. The bookies were offering low odds for you getting home and watching Gladiator, mind.
Well, I watched Gladiator on the Friday when I came, number one, because I was taking my lass to see number two, and I went to see number two last night.
Oh.
Where are you going next week for your birthday? I'm going to Istanbul. So. That's true as well.
Just chasing Max around.
Honestly, Rome was unreal. It was absolutely unreal. I've been before, but this was just, it was something else.
I was Gladiator. I've not seen a new one. First,
so
great, like
mixed reviews, isn't it?
Spoiler
really.
alert! Spoiler alert! Because I'm going tomorrow. I'm not going to spoil anything for anyone that's watching. All I'm going to try and say is, when you go to see it, don't think of it as a sequel. Just try and watch it as it's just a film. Because I went in with the mindset of this is number two, this is a sequel, and I walked out a bit.
So it's not? Is it not a continuation of the story?
Oh my god! It is.
But
in the future, 16 years on, even though the film was 24 years ago.
So
it's 16 years on. So, but it's not as good as the first.
There's a couple of things that stand out as being completely historically incorrect, isn't there?
Oh yes.
So somebody's reading something. Written press hadn't even been.
The Paul Mescal's Irish as well.
At this point. yeah. But there's a few things.
Going to Rome.
Let's talk about Newcastle United and a few other things. So, like I said, we're doing things a bit different. You've all got a message this afternoon, saying we've got topics. So each person had to come up with a topic.
Oh, I used to love topics.
Not my topic.
Topics.
That is not the topic.
Them chocolate bars. Topics.
Yeah.
Oh, they were built of them.
We'll talk about topics towards the end, but we'll start with Newcastle stuff, right? So, Mark, you can go first because you jumped in. So your topic of the season.
My topic, well, I was thinking we would probably talk about these things tonight anyway. And so I was obviously the three lads who played for England.
With 3 lines.
2 of them making their debut. Performing pretty well. I would
excellently.
say
I think all 3 of them did really, really well. Like over the course of both games, obviously Tino only played the second one, but I thought I didn't see him put a foot wrong over the 2 games. And Gordon got his goal as well, didn't he?
Unbelievable how far he's come in a lot of fans' opinion.
In a few weeks, in mine.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah. You were never negative towards him. You were just saying, I didn't think he played well here or whatever. But it is amazing to think that how he's dominating. He's now our left back. Period. That we now feel that he is our starting left back.
Yeah, I'd say that's right.
And then now he's
England's
it's quite amazing, right? It's
but
incredible.
that first game, Greece was it on
Greece.
the weekend, or Thursday? Sorry, he looked like he was getting his 50th cap. He didn't look nervous. There was a few times we've seen him in St James's like last season, even early this season, where his decision making might have been a bit off. And you think, that's not what I want to see. Really, it looked like a natural. It was like he'd been there for years and years was excellent. I was really, really impressed.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too many weeks since we sat here and talked about the possibility of having, England's two fullbacks for the coming 10 years.
Dan Burn and Harrison Ashby,
obviously. And I certainly didn't expect it to happen as quickly as it has. As good as I think Livermento's been and Hall's been so far this season, I just probably thought it was a little bit early, more so for Hall, because Livermento's been thereabouts in the squad and stuff like that. But it was good to see him get his call up, and then, as you say, he's just been chucked straight in at the deep end, 2 games in a row, and he's looked fantastic. Obviously, he's had a couple of moments where, a little bit of inexperience, because you've got to remember how young he is and the fact that he is, making his international debut. But it's absolutely incredible, the rise that he's had in such a short space of time.
I think the timing's been perfect for them as well. Like, England haven't had left back. Like, Trippier was left back at the Euros. And obviously we love Trippier, but he's a 33-year-old right back. So, you think, well, there's obviously a depth, an issue with the depth of quality there. At left back and right back, do you think, well, Trippier again, he's kind of, he's been injured, hasn't he, for us? Kyle Walker's starting to look his age a little bit. Reece James has been injured for however long. Poor bloke, I think he's I really like Reece James as well. See, on the left-hand side, Ben Chilwell as well has had a similar thing to Reece James. And the timing's been perfect for Tino and Lewis Hall, and I'd love to think. I mean, Tino was still in the under-21 squad when it was initially announced, so he was a late addition because of all the pullouts. But
we were literally sat here last week when he was called up, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
It's just obviously he's on a lot harder trajectory at that right back slot than Hall at the other side, because there is a lot of competition for that position, and you'd probably think, everybody being fit, he's probably way down that pecking order at the minute. But you've just got to think that he's just got to keep going and doing what he's doing at a club level, and he could cement himself into that team very easily.
I think so. I agree with Bessie that, if Reece James was fit,
Trent's your main.
Yeah, Trent. You've
got Trent as well, but even Trent,
there's a few.
He's moving away from right back a bit. You see, with Liverpool, he's kind of popping up more in the centre of midfield when they've got the ball, at least on the attack.
I think it's fair to say we're more stacked in that position. By a long stretch.
Safety, yes, very much so.
And obviously, he's getting in there because of Walker's form hasn't been particularly great. Even though I still think Walker's a good player personally. It's still amazing to see that we've got 3 players. And I've banged this drum a lot, haven't I? That if you can get players in the playing for the country, why would they play anywhere else necessarily? I mean, I appreciate everyone wants to win something, and I get money's money, I get all that. But I used to always fear when players went on international duty, they get their head turned. They'd be mixing with like Gerrards and your Chelsea players and your Lampards, and they'd get their head turned. Whereas now, are we the ones doing the head turning? You know what I mean? Our players are going to represent the country, and it's absolutely amazing to see.
Well, that was a rumour during, was it the Euros or the year before last, when it was James Maddison. And you had, I suppose, Mark Gaze one this time, they've pictured them together, the 3 of them there.
That was clever, that, wasn't it?
It was. I think the admin, I think they had the head screwed on there. But yeah, where it was it the World Cup or Euros in the summer, where those pictures of Callum Wilson with James Maddison and Gordon and saying, "Oh, well, lads, okay, yourselves." And if they didn't deny it, did they? I think Wilson was quite cheeky about it.
Yeah, they would 100% be saying stuff.
Of course, absolutely.
They just will be.
Well, you even get the likes of Neville and Carragher and stuff like that. They talk about when they were in the England squad, and you used to have conversations, and it was a bit different in their days, because they was talking about Man United players wouldn't mix with the Liverpool players and stuff like that.
On separate tables, they've mentioned that quite a few times.
But you would still see other clubs in kind of talking to each other and tapping up. I think it was probably more obvious at that time, whereas it's tapping up definitely happens. We know it does, because as we'll get onto on other topics, it's more so, rather than managers tapping up players and going to them, it's the agents just actively trying to sell them.
Well, yeah,
It was good to see over the last handful of days, Deka, wasn't it? The fact that having 3 representatives from Newcastle United playing for England is ridiculous. The last time, what was it? There was a thing. Was it
97? Was it Speed?
You would have been in your 30s then. The last time,
Batty and Lee.
Shearer, Batty and Lee, was it?
Maybe
there was another one in 2004 where it was Jenice Butt and someone else, but Jenice came on for Butt, or came on as Butt was getting substituted, so it wasn't quite. It was between Jenice Butt and Dyer.
But Deka, to have 3 that are normally wearing the black and white stripes of Newcastle, running out for the country, and being involved in a goal as well, which the commentator said made it at Newcastle United. Yeah. It was a nice little touch, wasn't it?
It's a funny one because I think it brings a little bit of nerves watching England, because when I watch England, like, I know people are not particularly maybe care about the Nations League, or when it's friendlies, I'm only really interested in major competitions, right? And I'm probably guilty of that, right? But when 3 of our lads are represented, it almost brings that edge. Like, I hope they play well, because I think Gordon not so long ago missed a sitter, and I was good because you want them to do well, because everybody is watching. There's a bigger magnifying glass on you when you're playing for your country, obviously. And Gordon referenced that at full time, and he go, "Well, I've had a few chances." Like, I love these sort of answers. Must be nice to score your goal. And he's like, "Well, I've had a few chances and I've missed." You know what I mean?
He took it well as well. Didn't he?
Really well,
really
well. And it's just class to see. Like, and it was funny because I think I will reference something about Southgate for a second. So there's been a lot of dropouts over this week, and it's been talked about heavily. A lot of people pulling out and stuff like that. Well, pull out more than I do. And you've got like, sorry, I've had a drink. It's true though. It's 0%. It is now. What was I going to say? All right. Let's be Southgate always gets bad rep constantly, but nobody used to pull out on the Southgate. Really, he really created. I've started something now, haven't I? I really have. But no one used to pull out of going to international games.
Withdrawal.
What?
Wait until we get on the
withdrawal.
substitution and start pulling them off.
We'll say withdrawals, right? No one withdrawed from the England squad in the Southgate, whereas because of him,
that just sounds as bad.
It's better than pulled out. It's got to be. There's been loads withdrawing from the squad, obviously, and that again has benefited our lads. And Kane come out and obviously, I was surprised, man. Kane come out and says like, it's not unlike, and it was great for a captain to do. That's what a captain should do.
So hang on, what did Kane say then?
So Kane got an interview and says, basically, what's your opinion of these players that are withdrawing from the squad? Yeah. And Kane was like, it's not on. Like, you should be representing your country. You should be here. And it's sad to see that players aren't turning up type of thing.
Okay, fair play.
And I thought it was great, and now,
in particular, like Gordon referenced the fact that he was really, really proud to play for his team and stuff like that, and how much it meant to him.
His quote got missed from the report I had seen. So until I watched the interview, it was something like
that was before for the Greece game, wasn't it?
It was something
when he was asked about who would you rather play for, your club or your country? Something around that, wasn't it?
His quote was like, I want to play for what our next game is, wasn't it? Basically.
So whoever my next game is the most important.
Yeah.
Whoever I'm representing at that time. Whereas the quote that it got sort of labelled as was, I'd rather play for my country than the club. That's what I seen.
Right.
But then when I watched the interview, I was like, he didn't say that at all. He just said, whatever's the net. And it was really clever for him on the spot to think of that. I think personally it was a good answer.
Yeah, he handled it really, really well.
He really did. It's a hard answer, hard question, that I think. And I was sitting thinking about what Kane said, and I thought Tuchel probably won't do this, but part of us feels, do you know what it is? Fuck the lads that didn't want to come. Like, if you've got like Tino and you've got Hall and all these lads that have decided, no, they've probably all got knocks. I don't reckon there's a single player that's went away with finger that's feeling 100%. Every one of them's probably got a niggle, probably got a knock, right? And I think them lads deserve a lot of credit, because the ones that are withdrawing.
Well, Gordon could have easily done it because Gordon went off the last game.
He referenced that himself as well. He basically said, "Well, I've got a little bit of a knock, but it'll be the point where I want to play. You'll pay through the pain barrier, and there's times where we all know that he's done it for long periods of last season. He's played through the injury.
No, obviously, selfishly, there's always part of going.
We always sit here.
I'd rather don't go. Can't hold a holiday with Joe Linton, and relax. You know what I mean?
Do you think it feels different now, though, Deka? Like the fact that we've sat here before, when it's one player, you go, I wish they weren't going, because obviously that puts our season in jeopardy really, if they were to get injured. But now the fact that there's 3 of them, I don't think we're all going to sit here and go, I wish they weren't going.
There's 3 of them, obviously. Isaac, the Kraft, and
all of them, yeah.
I remember saying this when we were crap. Like, when we start to get better and we get better players, you'll find all of our team is away on international duty, and we are just going to have to live with it, obviously.
Well, it was strange looking at because this was going to be another topic, was the fact that the rest of the players that then stayed at home have been over in Saudi this weekend. So we've seen a lot of videos and photos from the training over the weekend, and it was weird to see some of the players like Shea, Trippier, players that you wouldn't normally associate with being there, because they're not playing international now. Like, obviously Joe Linton's in and out of the Brazil squad, so he was in it. But
they don't want to be training in this weather either, just as well they're out there. Like,
I was surprised that because they've only really gone for the weekend.
Yeah, the weekend, yeah.
Which seemed a bit.
It's good though. Team bonding, get some Sonia back. Watch the fighting.
Some of they've done over the last few years when they've been away.
I just thought they would have gone for longer.
I mean, I suppose they could have done theoretically done like a week, couldn't they? Like,
do like a stag do Wednesday to Monday.
To show how many stag do's go to Riyadh, mind.
That's a long stag do, that mind.
Certainly a dry one.
Sounds like a typical one.
Well, it might be been a Riyadh for a stag do before.
Definitely not. No, but it's one of them. I just think for us, and it's funny because I say this about England. I keep talking about England, and you're right. You're absolutely right. Dubravka's represented. Shea represents his country. Obviously, he's dead now, but always has. Isak does every single week, or every time he goes. But of course, because we're English, you seem to, you recognise it more when the 3-1 representing England.
Mickey was away, Bruno was away.
You know what I mean? You follow it more, don't you? When
of course
it's,
you do.
Yeah,
of course you do. But it's class, it's absolutely. And probably the most important is confidence building. Great for them, and none of them got hurt. Everyone's, from what we're reading, everyone's coming back. Lovely jubbly.
Everybody's had a decent time away as well, to be fair. Sandro got his goal.
Sandro scored, I
think he got an assist as well. Isak got a goal and possibly an assist as well.
Scored past Dubravka as well. He scored.
Was it actually? Right, okay.
So I saw it today. I'm just copying what was said earlier.
Vlachodimos scored for England.
He did score, Black.
Black scored. Lewis Miley was starting
he
for
was
England
in the
21s this afternoon, wasn't it? 6:15, I think kickoff was.
Was it?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know what the crack is, but I'm sure he was starting that one as well. So honestly, they've put in a decent shift. Like the lads, Bruno was away, Miggy was away, beat Argentina.
They beat Argentina, yeah.
Did it?
Yeah.
So they've had quite a decent run out, the lads, and it only helps us going forward as well. Like confidence is already high between the lads because we've gone on a bit of a decent run since we weren't getting the results. But one way helps.
I think confidence beats tired legs. Like, everyone always thinks you don't want to play too many games, but when confidence is high, momentum's high, that'll override perhaps the tiredness people might think. It's when you're losing every week and you're playing 3 games a week. That's when there's a difference. You see the tiredness, you feel it. But they've had, going back to us, that week we had of beating Chelsea, Arsenal, and Forest. That was an incredible week. That was,
it's a high to go out with it, national duty on.
And it was a shame because probably we didn't want the break to come in many ways. And it does feel we've had about 10 breaks internationally in November.
Already 3. That's
3 so far.
One of the points I was going to make about like people pulling out of this one, is like it's so much football.
Yeah,
it's like international break. It's a 3rd international break, as I say. The travel that kind of comes with that. Bruno going to all over the shop. The teams in Europe, you've got extra Champions League games there. The UEFA, what's it called? Europa League's got more games this year. There's one in the conference here. I think there's too much of it. I think
bang up to the run up to Christmas as well, where the games come.
They've got to get that shop
thick and heavy. Yeah,
there's definitely too much football. There definitely is too much.
There is too much, and I think I do have a bit of sympathy for people pulling out because they're probably looking at the future, thinking if I pull out now, I'm probably going to be a bit better a few months down the line.
Around about 9 months.
That was brilliant. Though.
But no, like seriously speaking, like it's a Kris says that one. Like, it is a really busy fixture. We had like 11 games in December last year. Obviously Champions League was still in the League Cup as we are this season again. Actually, it's a lot.
We've got a bit of a gap till the next round. That's not until I think the week before Christmas.
It was last year. The Chelsea game was the
18th, I think it is.
It was just before Christmas. Yeah, the week before certainly. So I think I was quite heartened by like you see like what the Carlo lad who scored the Howard Bellis was it who got the last goal yesterday? And Madueke's I quite like Madueke, but don't you play very well yesterday?
Roy Keane's future son-in-law, isn't
apparently
it?
So. I didn't realise that until I was.
In the mentioned, obviously the shirt number, and I was like, I was only 16. I think I was Roy Keane, and surely it's not him. Given that he plays for Southampton.
After the
game, does James Milner mean nothing to him?
After the game, because he was part of the pundit team, wasn't he? And they said afterwards, what was it like to see him playing your future son-in-law and blah, 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 blah. And he went, well, it's not done yet.
It all made sense because even like the commentator said, even Roy Keane's got a smile on his face because he scored.
That's what made me.
And I was like, well, is he laughing because Ireland are getting tonked here and he thinks it's hilarious? But then obviously it then made more sense that it was his future son-in-law.
Christmas dinner it'll be. But no, there's a lot of young, like Rico Lewis, Gay as well. Gay's had a really good year for England where he hadn't really featured that much before then. I think the players withdrawing from the squad on this occasion has given more lads a shout. Like Livermore, Lewis Hall probably wouldn't have been in had it not been for. Well, he wasn't in the squad anyway, wasn't he? But he might not have started. Quite promising, I think. Like done what they did, the way they finished yesterday. Yeah. Every time they went forward, Jared Bourne looked like he was going to score.
So right, do you know what it is?
First touch and he scores a goal.
I completely forgot the England game was on yesterday. Hence why I haven't jumped in about how the lads were playing. So I got back home and one of the lads texted us saying it hasn't been a great start for Hall and Gordon in the first half. And I was like, all right, like blah blah blah. So I turned it on at that point. Well, 3-0 up. I got a text straight afterwards by saying, actually, they've just assisted the goal. Like, so
it was a game of two halves. Like,
so I thought, I'm going to quickly jump in the shower. Then, well, last comes in, she went, it's 5-0. I went, so I literally just missed every single goal.
It was a bit like us against Forest that second half. Like everything that we did for England, just look at me, we did. Right. Isn't that nice to say?
I was in the airport watching the Forest game at the time, and there was some Man United fans like. I was in Manchester airport, like, and they had no TV where I was, so I just put it on my iPad. And me and my dad were like shouting, like, get in there when we scored. And there was a woman, she was reading that book, like sitting opposite, and she like jumped in the air. And the Man United fan wasn't up. He's like just turning around, going like, And I think they were hammering Leicester at the time, and he was trying to act cool about it. You know what I mean? I was like, I give a fuck about you, like, but world class.
You can tell
that second half. Telling you now, that second half, I still think about it. It was unreal.
It was that good. It was a nice way to go into the break.
But it was unreal how good it was.
We're really good. We're really good.
I said to you though, didn't I, not to let that one drop. Like,
if you hadn't have missed the last 3 months of podcasts by celebrating your birthday, you might have been able to talk about it.
But it was amazing though. It was amazing.
Have you had your birthday? Actually 40 yet.
He's 43 now. His birthday's gone on that long.
That's what someone said. Actually, so you turn 40, you don't celebrate the entire year of the 40.
I think you're doing the decade.
That was amazing, that game. Sorry, I've digressed there.
Because you mentioned it as well, Mark, we might as well just move into the next topic. You mentioned the lads being away.
Yeah.
And the social media aspect of it, side of things.
It's been good, hasn't it? I mean, we've all talked a fair bit about how the social media side of the club has came on leaps and bounds in the last couple of years, but it's always just nice to see like the behind the scenes stuff, but there's been loads of like content put out over the course of the weekend, and that's why I don't know if it's a bit of wishful thinking that they had have been there a bit longer. Like it just seems weird, like as you mentioned, the flight time to get out there, it's not a quick couple hours, jumping over to Malaga or something like that. It's a decent long haul flight to get out there. And I know they're going in ultimate luxury, so
it looked lovely, like
that'll have an effect. But even seeing that, like from them going to the plane, all the photos, the videos, seeing them in that business class on that jet, like how the other half live. It's unbelievable.
Bit sad not to see a topless Nick Pope again, like we did last time.
He's in the background. Yes. But no, I think just seeing them out there training. Like today, we've had Joe Linton mic'd up.
Yeah, enjoyed that.
That's been nice to see as well, and it's good. Like as I said, just to see how they're going through the recovery drills that they're doing and stuff like that. It's nice, but it's been really, really good engagement. The stuff they've been doing over with the local fans, there's been loads of stuff. On Saturday morning, they obviously did a bit of a talk-in with, who was it now? Kelly, Dan Byrne and Jacob Murphy, wasn't it?
Did you see that?
They did that stupid thing where it's
you put like a table
individual camera and
like
that.
A camera thing, and it was like,
what?
Oh, look!
So when you have like Teams meetings and you can go into like a conference and you can sit them in like behind tables and stuff like that. So
I do it quite a lot.
They designed it so it looked like a virtual press conference.
Yeah.
But then in the background you had all of the individual faces of the people that were watching. Online,
like, obviously, Byrne was a big close,
but all of the cameras were just focused on. So, like, it would be like us four being sat in the same room as we are,
right?
But having a camera on each of us,
right?
But all of the cameras are zoomed in at different closenesses. So closenesses.
Is that a word?
I don't know. All I can think of is that bit in the Matrix, the second Matrix film, where he goes in the room and he goes to telly's behind him.
Well, that's what you know when you
was it like a lockdown where like lockdown had like people watching the match, like around.
Oh, that was mad.
And they beamed them into the stand and stuff like that. Yeah. So, like on any of the virtual stuff that they've done as fan engagements, you've been able to see the other people that are on, and obviously some people go on camera, some people just have their profile picture or the name or something like that.
Aye.
So you could literally see
Somebody vaping on that.
Billy sitting in North Shields on his camera,
On his
like
Kindle.
his face, while he's, scratching
know
his
what he's
ear
doing.
and picking his nose over Dan Burns' right shoulder.
I think I need to see this in
Yeah,
action
I'll
just to get an idea.
It'll be on the Newcastle
I feel as well-
Twitter account.
I feel
'cause
as
it
well
was
I've not
on-
really got
you can-
the-
If you scroll back through there, you'll.
If anybody
you'll see
listening or watching their live, just if you know what they're talking about, get the photo, screenshot the photo, and tag the GallowgateShots Twitter account. That'll be the best way to do it if you can do it. But I've
It's,
got no idea
it's
what
nice
you're
to have the opportunity to dial in, listen to a bit of an interview with them. You were able to put questions to them as well and ask them questions. And if yours was a picked question, you could physically ask them it.
Any decent
Literally.
questions?
Pretty standard affair. There wasn't anything groundbreaking in there, but it's just again a nice little touch to have that, availability to be able to interact with the players.
No
in
food
that
questions.
Not that I can
They don't have
remember.
good content, you know what I mean?
So,
I saw an interview with Holland, and he said on his cheat meal he loves a kebab.
Best in the world.
Like, isn't that unreal?
It's the best.
he's a Manchester / Leeds lad.
He's a
isn't he?
Leeds lad, isn't he? Yeah, but he's,
Loves a kebab. Aye, and his day off.
I don't know why actually.
I've been a little. I've had a
Well, there's been I couldn't get one over in Italy. Doesn't out like that. And
girls
stuff come-
not deliver over there.
Nah, I tried. It says even for you, sir. We can't do it.
Charter a flight for Deka's kebab. Shall we move on a little bit?
I kind of find someone put it on going like, "What is this?" And it was just a pit, and it was really bad. It was really bad. Someone will tag one.
Deka,
I'm here.
you mentioned that you wanted to have a bit of a discussion about Miggy.
Oh, aye. I thought
Did you
it was
forget?
I thought it was the other fella.
I thought
Oh,
I showed Miggy in your phone there.
No.
That's odd.
There's not many.
Yeah, I was just the quotes from his agent, and I suppose it was no secret that it looked like an American team, which was Charlotte FC, were obviously interested in Miggy. And his agents kind of come out saying he wants to stay and fight for his place. And basically, there's not many teams, well, almost like it couldn't afford him. But there was the few other quotes was basically that we had agreed a deal with another club, which was Charlotte, personal terms, but the club then rejected the bid, which was $18 million, around about £15 million.
Yeah.
Now, listen, I quite like Almiron, right? And I've got no issues with him being a squad player at all, period. But it is quite funny that, when we get our arse kicked by PSR and we're a bit worried and you've got 15 million on the table to not accept it. I don't know. I just found that maybe a bit strange. And obviously his agent's coming out now saying that. I mean,
Was this not something which we already knew at the time, though? Because we knew that there was a meeting being held between Newcastle reps and reps from Charlotte FC. We knew that, and we knew that they were basically underbidden for the player as well. So we knew all that at the time, didn't we? So I don't know why
I think the rumor
to
was
come out now. 10
million
the rumor,
at the
wasn't it?
time, but apparently
was it 14?
it's 40, worked out at just over 14 million. And
whether that's all up front or in installments, obviously, he doesn't mention that, of course. But it's just, obviously, he says he wants to stay and fight for his place. So that, to me, unless I'm wrong, means January. There's a lot of talk as well, though, that January he is going to move. But the way his agent's talking, to me, that doesn't sound that he is. But that might just be gamesmanship from him.
It must be quite tough for Miggy, like, to be fair, because we're literally openly trying to sell him for the last couple of windows.
Yeah.
But they're not accepting the bid.
But it sounds more from this story that it's actually his agent that's trying to tout him out and.
But that's how we got Miggy, remember? Because his agent, was he called Daniel something? Is that what he's saying? Like, his name's ring the bell. And I'm sure it's Daniel and his surname begins with a C. Might be completely wrong.
Cordoni.
Oh. And I'm sure he was openly touting him to a lot of clubs at that point. Because obviously, agents do what agents do, Besty. They're looking for the pay deal at the end of the day, aren't they?
Yeah, because we get
that's what the job is. That's what the job is at the end of the day. But I don't think it's... I get what you're saying, though. If Newcastle... And we know that they've struggled with PSR, hence why any player was available to buy at one point during the summer, that if the deal is there and it's rumored to be 14, 15 million, Besty, why have we turned our nose up at that?
Yeah,
what are we expecting to get for
when,
him?
Yeah,
when you think about the money that we got for Anderson, I'd rather have sold Miggy than Anderson. For instance, I know Anderson was 20 rather than 15,
But he went for
wasn't
double
it?
the money.
Oh, was it 30?
Practically, yeah.
Sorry, I had 20 in my head.
But
there,
a
yeah,
goalkeeper and a handful
Well,
of Mars
aye, there
bars
was
and
the
all
£10
sorts coming
that
your
came.
way.
I don't think we can even refer to that one, Bessie, because it was a bit dodgy dealings with that one, wasn't it?
Well, how much did Minty go for?
They were both
Was he
around
30,
30 each,
about
weren't they?
35
Yeah.
maybe, so fair enough, then I can't really use them as mitigation because of mitigation. Because, thanks, Deka.
Had a drink.
I know.
Yeah, sorry.
Doesn't matter what I say tonight. Because it doesn't really, it's not an equivalent amount, is it? But I guess they probably thought he was worth more. You wouldn't get a like-for-like replacement for that much.
No,
For 15 million quid.
What did I get Miggy for? 25, was it?
No,
20...
17, 18.
Okay.
Because he was one that broke the Michael Owen record.
He broke it just
yeah.
But it wasn't by much. It was the initial figure wasn't more than one, but it was the rest of it that pushed it up a little bit more. So
you think could have sworn it was 2021?
And do you know what it is, right? I think we've got to take it with a little bit of pinch of salt. Were personal terms agreed? Because for Miggy to go from Newcastle United to an MLS team,
they pay decent money over there.
But it's all cap though, isn't it?
Yeah, they do have a cap.
It's a massive cap.
But they have a high earner as well, don't they? I think they have one.
No, they might have classed him.
Would you bring Miggy in as your high earner?
I don't know how Charlotte are performing, if I'm honest. I don't know.
Well, if you think of what his name was like in America before he came here, he was obviously a big star in the team at the time, wasn't he? And him getting a big money move to Europe.
When I did the stadium tour of that stadium, he was all over the world. Him and Darren were like on the big.
What was it that player called? The striker?
Hernandez?
Was it Martinez?
Martinez.
Yeah, used to do that.
There's that thing. Maybe everyone wanted to sign him because they did that.
Yeah, just did that.
Usually be on his back within seconds once he has a bad game.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, he got a bad injury, didn't he? He done his knee.
I can't see his agent. I could be wrong, of course.
Daniel Campos.
I can't see his agent coming out lying saying that we had a deal agreed. I'd be surprised. I don't see why he'd be lying.
Do you know what it is? I can remember.
He would just say we're in talks with Charlotte.
Not long after we signed Miggy, where his agent was coming out and openly trying to sell him at that point as well, and trying to get a move from Newcastle to somewhere else.
He's done it a couple of times.
Agents
show us to a Spanish side.
Yeah. He's like obviously when the chat around him going to Saudi and stuff like that, like this time last year. Yeah. He was pushing for that. And
I mean, Miggy must be seriously thinking, the question from Almiron's side is you've started us once, mate, but you wouldn't sell us when you had the opportunity. I can understand that. I could understand that. As a player's perspective, I'd be like, well,
that's where the quote started, wasn't it? Is that he wasn't happy with the amount of minutes he's currently getting, which you can't really blame him considering he's gone from, last season, he's, for the last 3 or 4 years, he's been the number one
since he signed
starting player. Yeah.
I mean, that I always mention this season, that Champions League qualification side, scoring against PSG when they got all the rest of it, he must be thinking, it's not even as if you have strengthened that area of the field. I would, maybe if you sign someone for 50 million, stick him there. But you've been batting away with Jacob Murphy,
replaced by a new signing.
No, I know things have changed now because of the shape and Joe Linton's went back there. But nobody in the right mind said that was going to happen, so they didn't start. But like. The right wing situation though, you were playing Jacob Murphy there, right? So Almiron's probably thinking, hang on a second, you've given us one game
since we've stopped doing that. Bestie, not Bestie, your Bestie. Deka.
Well, there's a surprise for me, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? What on earth are you playing for anyway? He's like a fans want a ticket or something. But anyway,
anything else you want to mention about Miggy? It's not necessarily
the time's coming though, right? The time's coming. It's coming, right?
I've been starting to see Miggy go because I like him, but
I do as well.
Going back to kind of PSR stuff, if you can get 15 to 20 million hypothetically for him, I think you take it.
Do you think the club are regretting not taking that now, Bestie? How everything's panned out.
Well, apparently they were only
side.
Holding out for another 2 million.
Tight horses.
Which, like,
not surprising.
Well, that is the question, right? If you're not going to sell him for £14.6 million, what is it? And if it's 16 or 17, have a word.
Yeah,
this is your opportunity.
Which is why it then gets me thinking, because the chat at the time was that it was around about 10 million.
Yeah.
Which probably sounds more of a reason why the club would say absolutely not.
Aye, so is his agent just bullshit?
Is he? Aye.
Yes. I'll give you that one.
Or was it a 14 million deal? So the 14 million includes bonuses, wages and stuff like that.
Aye.
Whereas that sounds more feasible to me.
35
maybe the club were gaining 10 million.
Exactly.
I don't think 10 million is enough for Miggy the way.
Absolutely not.
Premier League football.
I would agree.
He's not I don't think we're going to finish in the top 4 with him again. I don't think he's that player. He goes to I don't know, a team in the bottom half of the table, Wolves, Palace, someone like that. I think they're better.
You get like championship teams are buying players for money in excess of that.
Yeah,
it's a nothing amount of money.
But you've got to remember his age as well.
He's still got a good few years left.
Well, do a job at Leeds, I think.
Are you getting?
I don't see Miggy at Leeds.
Can you get what we paid for him?
No.
So if you can't, then.
But we've had
You're not a kick of the arse.
5 years out of him.
No.
More than that, yeah.
More than that now,
More
isn't it?
7.
That isn't a criticism. I am not criticising that fact because I believe that is true. So what do we pay for him? You've said it was what, 17, 18?
About 17 between 18 and a half, I think.
So
right.
but
in the grant.
Everyone shouted there, no, you're not getting. So that tells me anywhere near really what
Miggy is 30 years old.
Yeah.
He's only just.
No,
You're either 30 or you're
February.
not. I'm just 40, but I'm still 40.
He's just 30.
He's 31 in February.
You're 60, man.
That's months away, that man.
So somebody's 30th?
3 months.
Nah, I think if it was £14.6 million and they haven't accepted it, there's a problem. They should have got rid of him.
Which is why I don't believe that's been the.
But if you hang on to them for another year and try and sell them, I mean, are we? So right, let's say it was 10, and then 4 million was if he scored 85 goals, all the rest of it. Right? Say it was. If we try and sell him in January, do you think we're getting more than 10 now?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, more than 10.
Yeah, and he's only started one game.
I know.
You've got to sell when your stock's high. Miggy's stock was the high. I believe.
I don't think it's dropped by a third. I think it's dropped by 33%. He's all of a sudden going to be worth like a pack of the chips.
I don't think we'll get 14, 15 from him. I don't think so.
I'm siding with Deka, you know.
I think we'll get close to 15. Like.
I don't think we'll sell him if that's the case.
Well, I'm not. I don't think in January, but we'll have to eventually, right?
If we do, you have to, or you're getting nothing.
Yeah,
and if we're so worried about PSO, you have to sell players rather than let them go for free.
But is he worth more as part of the squad than he is to let him go for £10 million?
Nah, apparently not.
For 10 million, I think he's
worth
more.
I'm not saying like me personally, but you can see like these days he's not getting any game time.
There's an argument.
No, but he's still a member. He's still a member of the squad, and
for worst case
will do a
scenarios,
job for when he comes in.
There's an argument there to say he's third choice on that position now, behind Murphy, behind probably Anthony Gordon, if Joe Linton, Joe Willock, maybe behind Harvey Barnes even. Although I think Harvey Barnes is less likely to go on the right hand side.
Barnes is more.
Bessie, the options now is so at this moment in time, because everything which has happened in the last couple of weeks, where the formation changes, right? The players that you've kind of got ahead of Miggy are Gordon, Joe Linton.
Yeah, right.
A decent side on the right. 100%.
Joe Linton's
Murphy's ahead of him.
Right.
Murphy is.
Murphy isn't though, because Murphy has. Miggy's been coming on ahead of Murphy.
Murphy was starting
in the recent. He was.
Murphy's
at the start of the season.
I think Eddie Howe puts Murphy above Miggy,
but he hasn't recently.
Hopefully,
you look at the last spell of what, half a dozen games. Miggy's been the one to come on.
I think he's probably, as it stands right now, he's probably third or fourth.
I don't think he's behind Joe. I don't think he plays Joe Linton on the right. Like,
nah,
not without,
unless he has to.
Unless he's got Joe Willock on the right behind him, which wouldn't happen. So
he only played Joe Linton on the right because he just swapped him and Gordon around because they weren't getting any joy.
Was he only got a lot of joy on the right hand side?
Was his only start in the cup?
Isn't it?
It was an awful game as well. He won the penalty. Like, was that the only start he's had? Am I wrong there? Has he started?
One start.
Probably.
Yeah. That Wimbledon game.
So that was the Wimbledon game. That is the start.
I think he's had one start this season. No, I think he's had one Premier League start.
Oh, one Premier League. So maybe two in total. Right,
which would probably. I don't
know. I might be completely wrong, but I'm sure I read somewhere where he's had one Premier League start.
I think that's what the article said. Actually, one Premier League start. Yeah. Okay. No, listen. I mean, I wouldn't want to sell him. I've said for so long that I think he's a great option to have for what he can bring.
Was it Chelsea? Because we're not saying he'd end up getting a run of games and it'll be against a team like somebody like Chelsea or Arsenal. And I'm sure he started against Chelsea.
In the league?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did.
I just think that he's worth more as a squad player being available than taking the £10 million.
So would you sell him for 14? So hang on, I'll hold my breath here. So you're not going to get what you paid for him. So my question was 14. Yeah, not a kick of the arse away. We didn't pay much more for him.
Well, it's halfway between 18 and 10, isn't it? So it's like, if you know, I think it's not unreasonable to say 14 million is an amount for him. Like,
and I know what you're saying based on just the number, but obviously 6-7 years ago, the difference in what 17 million was worth then compared to now, you're probably talking that's equivalent of a 22, 23 million.
To be fair though, for 7 years of
if you can get as close as possible to the figure that we bought him for,
that's good business, mate.
That's good.
Hence why I don't think we'll get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
For a 30-year-old player.
But that's what I'm saying. But let's say it's 16 million. Let's say he signed for 17. 17 million pound now is not what 17 million pound was 6 years ago.
Totally
that's what I'm saying. So yes, the figures are similar.
15,
but if we want to buy him now at the same stage, he'd be costing you 25, 30 million because just the way money's gone. I just don't think it's worth losing what he can give you for the sake of 10 million pound. If you're then talking 15, 16, it's another third on top of that, isn't it?
I just think we're just looking at numbers here, but you've got to remember that 10 million is to reinvest into a replacement for him.
But you don't get it. That's what I'm saying. You get nothing for 10 million.
No, you get nothing for 10 million, but that 10 million goes towards it. Whereas if we let him go for free, you're at fucking zero. Which is
he's not costing us anything now because obviously his fee's long gone and stuff like that. So the only reason
it'll cost us by not selling him.
Potentially on a PSR of what's
if
there.
If you look at that side of things, then 100%. Which is
but if we did sell him for 10 million, you could reinvest that 10 million over 3 or 4 years, which then becomes 30, 40 million, whatever, and do it that way. So I get it from that argument side of it, but
and if you put wages into account of it,
how much is he on?
No idea.
He'll be on
a fair amount.
I thought so.
Has he had a renewed contract in the last few years?
I don't think so. I wouldn't have thought.
I don't remember.
Can't remember reading it or coming out. I know what you mean. Though. I would have thought he
must have had.
Well, it'll have been like a couple of years ago by this point, won't it?
I think we got him in January 2019.
Someone FM meant while you're watching.
So
did he not sign a new contract after his purple patch that season?
He probably
did.
And I get what you're saying because it's a squad game, of course it is. But I think if you're looking at it really, that right-hand position, despite we're not replacing it for a player and an upgrade of a player, I think there's enough there to cover that position until the summer.
60 grand a week.
I think there is.
No, not that much.
3 million.
Do you not think there is?
If Miggy goes, you're left with
Gordon,
who's filling in on the right-hand side.
Murphy. 3.
And Murphy.
Barnes?
I don't think Barnes.
But Barnes is going to play left, isn't he?
No, but he can't.
He's only not. He's
not
going
to be any worse than Miggy.
Because
he's not going to be any worse than Miggy on that right-hand side.
I don't know, Chris. I don't know. Gordon's
he won't give you what Miggy gives you on, and people can slag him off as much as you like. But
Barnes isn't a 90-minute player where you notice him on the pitch all the time. He can kind of come and go. Whereas Miggy pops up at right back all the time. He comes in the middle quite a bit. I don't think Miggy's. I like Miggy a lot. Technically, obviously, can at times leave a lot to be desired. But I think he is a completely different player to Harvey Barnes.
100%. There's not another player like him.
I don't think Barnes.
There's not another player like him.
I don't think Barnes. What I've said, certainly, you're not getting the best out of Gordon by putting him on the right. I think that's even more the case for Barnes. Because Barnes is cut inside, have a shot where Gordon can beat his man, so the cross he put in for.
So you think if the injuries fell the way they fell, you would put Barnes on the bench and start Miggy right? Is that what's in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not so sure.
I think he'd play Barnes left and Gordon right.
Gordon on the right.
Yeah.
Well, that's not putting.
But then I still think, if anything was to happen,
it all has a knock-on effect.
Either Gordon or Barnes.
Hence why I'm throwing
one of
Joe
those
Linton
would
in
go
the mix
left and Miggy would go right.
I don't think you. Oh, yeah.
I'm throwing Joe Linton in the mix as well.
Yeah, but Joe Linton's not going to be playing on the right. He's not going to start a game and play out on the right-hand side long term.
I think, right?
Not a chance.
At one point this season, we'll see Joe Linton start on the right. Start a game on the right.
He's not, but Chris just made the point there that if Joe Linton starts on
the
left,
he's played 2 games that he played, and admittedly, he was unbelievable for this game. Man United, he played right wing against Man United, Joe Linton, and he was incredible.
Right.
He's played one other game at right wing,
which he had a very, very good game.
But that he got swapped over for like.
It doesn't matter if he got swapped.
45, probably wasn't even 45.
No, it was more than 45. The end of the first half, he shifted over to the right hand side.
What game is that for?
Last game.
Last game.
Yeah, well, I was going to say he cut inside and scored a lovely goal from the right. But I agree, listen, he's not my right winger. But I get what you're saying. I get the point you make. My question was a while there, didn't it? My thought.
Fourth.
No, absolutely not.
But no, listen. Listen, if he's only started one Premier League game,
Murphy.
Nah, he's only started one Premier League game. So you have to be massively down the pecking order to only get one game. Surely.
Yeah, but surely look at his substitute. There's a look at his substitute appearances.
Think here.
That's where it then comes in. So you're saying you'd rather have Murphy starting ahead
Of course,
of Mickey?
I want Murphy in the stands, man.
Well, that's what you're saying.
I believe Murphy's ahead of Mickey. That's how I feel. I think how I do.
That's
I
certainly
do.
the start of the season was the case. Don't know about now.
Good job. How's the manager and not you then?
But how,
Murphy started
Start the season, and because he had the form coming, he had a good end of season last year.
He had a decent preseason.
You kind of fault him at
He had a
that.
really good preseason.
So that's why he's then started.
That's how you bring
there,
Gates head to the world. Near good, man. Near good. I still think Murphy's ahead of him. But anyway, the bottom line is right. Is he third or fourth?
He's fourth.
Right. So he's fourth. Or he's third. Right?
Second, realistically.
Could be fifth. To be fair.
Bollocks. He's not second choice.
He's not second choice right wing, Alex.
He's not second choice, mate. Come on.
If Gordon's not playing there, he's going to go in.
Third at best.
Third at best, yes.
Who are you putting? You're putting Joe Linton, who's not even a right winger.
there, man.
I'm doing a Southgate.
And then you
approach.
just turn around and say, I'll then just give you an example, and you went, he probably would play Barnes there. So there's one straight away. You'd say Gordon and Barnes. I'll give you that argument. You went, he probably would play Barnes,
But
right?
that
So there's another
meaning-
one in front of him.
Meaning Gordon and Barnes would be your two swapping between your right and left.
Right?
Doesn't matter. It's still an
So
option.
there's an option for you.
No, but they would then be your number one.
And you've got
wouldn't
Nobby
they? That's what I'm
Solano.
saying.
He'll be ahead of him.
As I said 2 weeks ago, he would be my choice to come back into the team. Crying out for Nobby.
Shall we move on away from this?
Yeah, I think so.
you three are all wearing very earthy colours, I've noticed.
Earthy.
Autumnal colours. Shades of green and beige, nice.
I do have me
That's great, isn't it?
me t-shirt
Nice
on
t-shirt.
another
I
day,
noticed that
but
one
it's
coming up.
too cold.
Aye.
It's freezing.
It's absolutely freezing. There's a weather warning out at night, isn't there?
Bessie's got
Winters,
shorts
winters
on,
here.
man.
I've got earthy, well, actually, kind of same kind of.
Yeah.
I've got the memo, but I did in the bottom half.
Yeah.
Thing is,
Yeah.
I've been going to the gym recently, so I've got shorts on, even though my body's no different to what it was. But now when you've been exercising a bit, you feel it a bit more. Like, get our legs out. No, mate, got my reflection earlier. No, hide them. hide them, bad lads.
So they've been on camera for the last 45 minutes, mate.
That's
So
why
short
he's looking for the
shorts, but they're normal shorts than anybody else.
I tell you what, I'm going to go through some of the questions because we've had a couple.
Then shorts under the shorts.
Let me boxers. Okay.
Wow.
Those oddballs boxers.
They're long.
Right.
I got a subscription.
Have you got odd balls?
Yeah.
How many boxers do you get per your subscription?
I got a pair. So is that 2 boxers or is that?
What?
It's
A pair of boxers.
shorts?
No, a pair's one.
Yeah,
one
it's a
pair,
pair.
isn't
It's
it?
one item, but if it's a pair of boxers, there's 2 of something in it.
Because you've got two
Is
legs.
each boxer, each leg.
There's a pair of boxers.
So I get a pair of boxers and a pair
It's
of
not
socks.
just like a pair of gloves.
So it's one
No, a
pair.
pair of
isn't
gloves
it?
is 2 gloves.
But your
People
people
do gloves.
throw us a pair of boxers. They're not going to throw you 2 boxers, are they? They'll throw you 1 pair. Well, 1 boxer.
One set.
Aye.
One
It's
item.
a funny
It's
one.
not
that,
a couple of boxers. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a couple of boxers, but if you say, I have a pair of boxer shorts or a pair of
You would
trousers,
expect a pair, right?
you wear a pair of
Pair
trousers,
of
don't you?
trousers, yeah.
Isn't that weird
Pair
how that
pants,
works?
yeah.
It's not a pair of jumpers.
A pair t-shirt.
It's not unusual. What unusual language we speak, lads? It's ruminating.
Has your hoodie got a pair of arms?
It's got 2 arms.
Yeah, but he's right though. You never say like.
No.
So was that a
I
pair of
agree.
shorts?
Yeah, is that just because you put? Oh no, because I was going to say because you
you
put
put
like
your
your
legs in
side,
it.
but then your t-shirt you
Why
do
is it a
that
pair
one.
of boxers or
yeah.
a pair of shorts? Why is it only a bottom? The
But
bottom half?
because it goes over your head.
So
you only
sorry,
put it
back to the
over
question,
one
Bessie.
thing,
Do
don't
you get 2 boxers in the set you
I
get?
get a pair of boxers, a pair of boxer shorts, and a pair of socks.
Singular.
13 quid a month,
Okay, got you.
which for a quality item. And obviously,
I'm getting Arsenal vibes off them. Like,
going to charity as well,
Like,
like-
Man United away in the 90s. Schmeichel, I'm getting.
a little bit
Schmeichel.
like, obviously,
the
oddball. You can get. I'd rather have the plain ones, but
I'm
they
getting
don't have
like
any.
Kenya or something, me.
It's
Oh, it's like
different
Schmeichel's
vibe,
top.
yeah.
I'll show you.
It's cultural appropriation, is what it is. But no, that comfy. They've got the kind of they're like a bit in the middle, so your thighs don't rub together when you're exercising.
Chif.
Apparently,
Chub rub.
So I'm told, chub rub.
Chub rub.
Me
It's
and
getting
you,
the
Mark, we know that.
batwing the other week.
I've got slender thighs.
Slender thighs.
Slender thighs.
I saw you in those tracksuit bottoms a couple of years ago.
Cancelling that subscription.
Right.
Jesus. They weren't tight, remember? He said
No,
they
no.
weren't tight. Just around the ankles.
They were fitted. Like
Very.
Fitted.
You've never wore them again. I've noticed that.
Have you worn
that's
them?
because I always wear.
Nah.
I've got jeans on today.
He went downstairs and sat in the corner, just ripped. The second he sat down,
Do you still own those grey joggers?
Which grey joggers?
the tight ones.
They were
tight
grey, man.
The work
They were- I
grey
think
ones?
they were
Grey.
grey. I think they
Well,
were
the black foot that tight, that hit.
Like leggings when they go thin.
Just go sheer. Because
It's just like see through. They were grey, weren't they?
No, they were.
opaque.
They were
stretch the colour out.
I thought grey, like my memory
blacky grey, like a.
They weren't they grey?
I can't remember. I honestly can't remember.
Right.
was being that he hasn't been able to take them off since, when Ross gets them leather pants stuck on his friends. His skin's grown over the top.
Talc all over.
Right,
They were just a normal pair of
They were tight.
They were not normal.
Bodies
Nothing normal
consume
about
them
them.
via osmosis.
Right.
No, but if anybody like goes into the club, well,
No one's buying them
ones,
in the club shop, mate.
Adidas ones are a bit more forgiving, aren't they? They're not more of a normal cut, whereas the Castor ones
definitely
were
more
quite
forgiving.
Do you know which ones I bought?
straight
in the bin.
athletic fit, weren't they?
I bought the blue ones. You know, they were like they used to wear like a blue drill top and the blue pants to sort of match.
The Castor stuff.
Yeah, the Castor stuff. I bought the blue ones.
Tight ones.
End of the eye. Well,
What's that? What I'm saying? The tight, the fitted.
Have you noticed I haven't had them on? So I they were in the bin. I literally got them home, put them on. Nah, see you.
Yeah, they're like the proper like training like pants, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Aye.
Yeah,
Horrendous.
Under Armour.
Yeah,
They're like NFL shorts.
Yeah,
they were tight.
Oh no, well, that's tight.
that's what yours were.
They are proper leggings. Them.
If anybody's got any questions, send them across and we'll go through as many as possible. We've got another 10-15 minutes somewhere. So Josh Stockton is back. We've not seen him.
Hi,
Josh.
Josh. Been on holiday with me.
It's been on Deka's 40th.
I sent Josh a message
fun, isn't it?
the other day because I think everybody's a little bit worried about him. There's a couple of people mentioning in every week saying, is Josh all right? But he is. His question is, now Lee Carsley has finished up as interim manager of England, do you think Thomas Tuchel will do a good job long term? He also goes and says, I think Hall could flourish under him. He gave him his Chelsea debut. He says, much love to you as always. Thanks, Josh.
It's a funny one, right? Because it's a good question actually. Because I wanted to ask. I never really asked this to anyone. So Southgate,
never been, yeah?
Southgate, true. Southgate got what was it? Sorry, let's say I want to say 2 finals and a semi.
You'll know, Bestie.
Finals in 21, 24, semi in 18. Yeah,
right. So people say, will Tuchel do a good job?
Mm-hmm.
So the good job then to me, you have to win it then. Is that the good job? Is that the good?
Well, if you
because to me, getting to the finals is a good job.
If you're clamoring to replace Southgate, who's got the 2 finals, then the only kind of measurable progression would be to win something. Yeah,
which is all the best. All the best to you. If that's the and to be fair, he's been brought in to win, hasn't he? That's of course.
Yeah, I mean,
I think Tuchel's an absolute a loose cannon, like, but that's when he's at club football with a director of football and ownership and stuff. So he might actually flourish under this because he can't complain. He can't buy someone. I mean, he could, but he's an idiot if he did. But like, you know what I mean? Like, he's got all the pool of talent he can choose from. Whereas I find
a very good pool of talent.
Yeah, 100%. And I think there's no doubt about it. I think he's an amazing manager. I really do. But I just think he's always run into trouble at club football because he just seems to argue or not get on with sporting directors or the owners or whatever it may be. So it could be brilliant. But I just think the bar that you're setting. See, let's say Southgate got the last 16 in a quarter final, and then he come in. He might then get you to the final and goes, God, how much of progression on him? He's done a really good job, hasn't he? But when you've got 2 finals and a semi to compete with, it's a very fine margin.
Yeah,
it's a tough one. Yeah, I agree. I hope he does. I'd love to see it. I don't. A lot's being made about how he's kind of quite demanding and maybe he's not as gentle a manager around the players as Southgate was, and I guess Carsley as well. Looking at the people, I'm looking at Anthony Gordon's post about Lee Carsley on Instagram today. Very, very kind of like he knows how to get the most out of us and all that. Because Carsley's done what Southgate did. Carsley was with the younger team, doesn't he? Under 20, I think
he's gone back.
He's gone back.
He's gone back. I'm glad about that because he seems to be. I was one of the ones who, when he got the job, you don't know, Dave, because we've seen Southgate manage before. I was underwhelmed by Southgate. To be honest with you, I'm just glad it was Allardyce again. But Carsley, I remember people going, "Hey, fucking Carsley, how do you?" Just because he played for Everton 20 years ago doesn't mean he's going to be a bad manager. You never know. And he seems to be getting a lot out of the players. The players love him. And again, similar to what Southgate did when he came in, and partly dictated because of the withdrawals this week. Like a lot of young players that he's had under his arm for 4 or 5 years now, doing a job for England. Doing like the last couple of games, the Greece game at Wembley obviously was horrible.
Do you think that's the job? That's the game that's cost him the job. I feel because I was reading an athletic report saying that Tuchel wasn't the first man; it was Carsley, but he lost him. They worded it better, like he lost the job, like he lost it himself, and it can only be that game. Then.
Well, that was the point at which people were going, "Oh, he's not," because how people are. People going, "Oh, he's clearly not going to." I mean, you forget Southgate got beat 4-0 off Hungary before the Euros.
He's quite brave, wasn't he, with some of the decisions that he made in such a short space of time.
He tried. I think. Did he try to pattern the midfield that game?
Did he not drop Kane?
At all?
He dropped Kane.
He has dropped
Thursday.
He didn't play him, against Ireland. He didn't.
Now, for me, he brought Gordon in the first game, I remember, because he took him. Southgate took him, didn't play him. Of course, we weren't happy with that. And to be fair, not just Newcastle fans, there was a lot of pundits saying he should have been on.
Yeah.
And then I think the first game, Carsley had Gordon was straight in.
Straight in.
And I was like, yeah, go on. So, he's making changes the way he wants to do it.
Was Carsley a coach at Everton at any time?
Might
could
possibly
be because obviously I know he's got the history there. Just wondering if that maybe he knew Gordon from being. I mean, either know him from the anyway. But if he knew even beyond that, before then, beg pardon. But Tuchel seems, going by what people say, to be a bit of a different beast with regard to how he is with players and a bit more demanding. And I saw it implied during the Harry Kane thing. Maybe it's not by Kane himself that the players wouldn't have pulled out had Tuchel already been in. So we'll see. I mean, it's not international. Ironically, given that we've had a spate of them, it's like 6 months. It's March,
a while now.
5 months.
It's got a long time, hasn't it?
Which feels like far too long. I'd want one before. I'd want to have a look at him. But we'll see. He's obviously a terribly good manager. I always think that.
Well, at club level, because we don't know that
exactly
at this point, do we?
What I was about to say. I think international management and club management are two completely different.
Yeah.
Look at Capello. Capello had a stinker for England, and he's one of the best club managers there's ever been.
I feel international football. Listen, I obviously have to get the players on your side, but you could say that at any level, right? You've got to get the players on side. But I always find in national football, it's because you don't play as many games and competitions. It's the in-game decisions in the moment. Like, can you adjust in the moment? And to be fair to Tuchel, certainly in the Champions League against Pep when he beat him, he changes on the fly. And can win the game. And I just feel that was probably my biggest criticism of Southgate sometimes was stuck and maybe wouldn't make the changes. He's brave enough to. It's not about being brave necessarily. It might just be he believes that that's going to work. But from the outside looking in, when I've watched Tuchel matches, he changes things when kind of has to.
He's definitely a good technical coach.
I think that was a valid criticism. Now, I like Southgate. I still do like Southgate. As an international manager, I wouldn't want him in Newcastle as a club manager.
That's the opposite issue of that. As we're looking at it now, we've got with Tuchel, because we know Southgate was terrible at club managing.
Yeah,
whereas he's done
didn't he?
Performances weren't the best, but results-wise,
yeah,
with the England squad, he's done very, very well, as we've just said.
As a manager, do you think you've got it a bit easier as an international manager though than club football? Because club football, you're relying on the players that you can bring into the club in regards to your finances and things like that behind it. Whereas if you're an international manager, depending on which country you're all managing, you're quite blessed, man.
Well, that's when the levels come into it, isn't it? Is because if you sent him to the Faroe Islands, somewhere like that, doesn't matter how good of a manager he is or coach he is, he's not going to get the same performances out of those players than he is going to England, France, Spain, a big international team
with
that bigger pool of players. So you can be the greatest coach in the world, but if you don't have the players available to you, then you're going to struggle. I think the fact that you are an elite and good manager gets you these jobs. So he's got a fantastic opportunity now. We're obviously going slightly left field of hiring a foreign coach to look after the English team. We've done it a couple of times, as we know, Capello, who you've just mentioned, Sven famously, where we've done it. So it's a big change. It worked really, really well for the Lionesses.
Yeah,
going and taking a proven international manageress, is that the right word? Coach. Let's just stick with coach and bringing her into there, and it's worked wonders for them.
Manager still works as well.
I think it's a funny because it depends on which way you look at that question. So pressure-wise, he hasn't got a game for, what was it, 5-6 months?
March, yeah.
Best job, as long as best.
He doesn't take over until January, though, does
he? Yeah, right.
Must be 40th.
It's the best job in the world, right? Like, if you look at it in that, because look at Premier League managers.
And he's only on a 1-year contract.
Yeah, well, he's
18 months.
He is here to win
the World Cup.
He's here to win that end of. And then I think they'll try and look for Eddie Howe at that point. But anyway,
agree.
The hardest thing is you're not seeing the players enough, are you, in terms of embed your mindset
as
or your style.
Collective unit.
Yeah. So listen, a Premier League manager lose 2 games in a row. It's the pressure's just white hot. Like, it's just unbelievable. I mean, Christ, even Howe was coming over some stick, right? And we've won 3 on the bounce, everything's rosy again. Yeah. You lose 2 in a row, bang, the knives will be back out again. It's so hard at Premier League football. The thing is, within national management, the pressure the tough part is you don't have enough time maybe to embed your ideas as much as you'd want. in that 4-week window of the tournament, my God,
that's where the pressure comes.
Buckle up.
Well, the thing is, being an England manager, and this isn't meant to sound arrogant, although it probably does, is that the difference between the best team in the Premier League, difference between Newcastle and who's bottom of the minute, Wolves, was scraping to win it more than you. We didn't play brilliantly. We got the win. Fair play. We took the Harvey Barnes, won that goal. Shea hit one that got deflected. With England, your qualification processes, I mean, it's a bit equalised in the Nations League slightly. If you're qualifying for a World Cup European Championships, your group's going to be one of normally Poland, someone a bit more middling, like I don't know. I don't want to say like
Denmark,
Denmark, Latvia. You get one of like San Marino, Gibraltar, Luxembourg, Faroe Islands. You get one that's like we could get 10 here. So it's not really. England have qualified for. I remember the 2010 World Cup. They didn't lose a game. They won every game until the last one was a dead rubber against Ukraine. The cup beat didn't matter. For the vast majority of times, I know it's easier to qualify now because it's like the tournaments are larger. Like England are just like pummeling teams. Absolutely. Not a criticism, but when people talk about Harry Kane having the record ahead of Bobby Charlton, Gary Lineker, is that there's more easy games now.
Yeah, there's a reason
because of the collapse of the Soviet Union in the late 80s, early 90s, like the kind of Czechoslovakia is now two countries. Yugoslavia is like 6-7 countries now. So you get all these games against like Jara, against like Hebben. It's like like some Rooney, Kane, your goal scorer. Fill your boots, go and do it. The tournament is where it changes normally, and that's when we've seen Southgate when he struggled in Euro 2020. The terrible game against Scotland, the 0-0 draw, scraped was there by Calvin Phillips. No, Sterling scored against Croatia the first game, and we've won enough games to get through. When the criticism against Southgate 2018, pump Panama because Panama are that level. They are the kind of the lower.
Yeah, he just couldn't beat a big team. Like he couldn't.
He didn't do it.
I say that we'll beat Germany at Wembley. I remember because that was the game where I thought could we get over Germany and we beat them.
Yeah.
It wasn't
a great Germany, was it?
No, it absolutely wasn't. And every time we seemed to come up against Belgium, we got beat every time.
Yeah.
Or we came against Croatia
a couple of times. France.
Italy. It just seemed to be when it was that moment we couldn't get over the line.
Yeah.
I just think the pressure in that window is it's white hot. It's so hard. But then again, you could say, well, you've got no pressure at all for 6 months.
Yeah,
I mean, there's going to be some pressure at some point.
In national management, basically, you've got until the big tournament, as you say, because you've got the qualifiers. If England
should take care of themselves.
If England don't qualify for a tournament now, because the Euros are 24 teams, World Cup's going to be 48 teams. Then you're gone, and you should be gone. Because of the depth of talent England have got. I'm not saying they're the best country in the world, because like you look at like the players Carsley's brought through now. You mentioned Tuchel, beg pardon, can change a game on the fly. He must be rubbing his hands thinking, I've got Trent Alexander-Arnold here. I can play him right back. I can do what I want. He's got these players that have got that. And that's why I think he could do well. But
I think he'll handle the pressure like we're talking about a lot better because he's been there. He's done it. Obviously not at an international level, but he's used to playing at the top end of the table, challenging for the league, playing in the Champions League, looking to go win these competitions.
He won the Champions League with Chelsea at a time where that wasn't expected.
It wasn't a great Chelsea team, was it?
And they beat City in the final, didn't they? Man City in the final, which was he outsmarted the greatest as far as I'm concerned. So all the best to him. Good luck. Yeah, I mean, the one I know, Carragher, certainly Neville's massively passionate about this. In regards to English manager, do you feel? Listen, I'm not saying it has to be, but I mean, would you prefer, or do you feel it's better for our sport if it's an English guy?
Doesn't bother me in the slightest. Best available.
I think that. It probably should be, but because the rules don't dictate, then what's a problem?
I wanted to mention that about rules because I have to say I find it strange that you have to be English to play for your country, but not English to manage. I don't just mean I mean Spanish or everywhere.
Where would the cut-off point be though? At that point,
well, it's the same as the players, and it's the grandfather who was a big thing.
No, I mean cut off like.
Well, we've got 3 Irish players playing for us.
Yeah.
The minute, no.
Are they actually are they Irish or were they playing?
2 of them played for Ireland.
I just make them Irish. Ray Houghton's Irish, Tony Cascarino's.
It's a massive kind of worms, isn't it? But like, if you put that restriction on the likes of the players, which we've seen, which kind of can get twisted a little bit anyway. But then, if you say, oh well, managers have got to go down that same route, at what point does it stop? Does it stop at the coaches? Does it go to the physios? Does it go to everybody behind the scenes?
Good point.
There's got to be a cutoff in the end of the players.
I mean, the rules aren't that, but there's not many big international teams have had foreign managers.
And imagine if you put that stipulation in as well.
Brazil have, in fairness, have had a few.
Imagine if you put that term in for a manager. Imagine the likes of the countries that you've just mentioned there.
Yeah.
They're going to struggle to get a manager.
Or they'd be getting caretakers from like the schools.
Like anybody coming in to manage that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But we would have Steve Bruce by now.
In England, England for an English manager at the minute, the Premier League, you've got Howe, You got is Kieran Maguire? Is he English? Maguire? Is he Irish?
Sounds very Irish. Kieran Maguire.
I'd say Irish.
Yeah.
I couldn't answer the but
That's even his name, but there's not many. There's not.
No, there's not. There's not. Yeah, I guess that's a problem in itself. 100%. And that's
problem,
the question that you asked is the reason that we're in this place, because yes, would I prefer to have an England manager? Yes, I would. But there isn't one available. And we don't have the quality there. And that's it. Well,
in the press conference, Howe said that he wasn't approached because he got asked. I think it was Keith Downey asked him straight, were you approached? He said there was 10 people that they've approached. Were you one of them? And he went, no.
We know why, because they didn't want to spend money on getting a player. A manager out of contract, and it would have cost a lot to get out.
Because it's probably only Graham. They must have approached Graham Potter. Must have, right?
But you would have expected him. Would you not have expected him to take it?
No, they've approached him.
They've approached him. I definitely think Graham Potter would have took it.
But it might not be up to him to say.
But I think then when Tuchel said,
that's
and
that's it.
And you take it, don't you? If you're looking at it as a football fan, no matter if it's club or country, which manager you want out of the two?
100%. You want the best available manager out there.
I agree.
You know, even like when we are looking at who we can bring in, you want the best that's available.
It probably would have been Mourinho if he had been out of work. If he only went to Fenerbahce, it may well have been
himself with the Newcastle job on the other week, which I'm not even going to.
I think Josie will be amazing internationally. Nationally,
I agree. I agree. I'm going to end it there. Apart from one little thing, Bessie, let's have a little discussion, because me and your fine self have been having a lovely week on social media, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
We found something new, a new toy to play with.
Oh.
So a blue sky.
Yeah, right. A few.
Yeah. So
you just talk to each other. You're the only ones there.
Well, give us some backstory on blue sky.
Remember original Twitter,
the nice Twitter,
the blue Twitter
back in
with
2012.
the little bird and everything. That one, and it was a nice little friendly place, and you just had a big crack. Always to do with football. There was no arseholes, there was no aggro, there was no videos that you don't want to see.
There's 2 arseholes there now.
There's 2. Maybe 2 more by the end of this. But it's quite a nice place to be at the moment. I'm not going to say it's going to stay like that, because
100%. And who runs Blue Sky?
It's user run, isn't it? It's really weird.
It was the bloke who come up with it was actually Jack Dorsey, who invented Twitter.
That's what I heard.
He's sold it now. He's not his anymore. Yeah.
But it's just at this moment in time, Bessie, it's quite nice, isn't it?
It's a little bit self-congratulatory, I find. Not as much as Threads, but it's a bit kind of like, it's a bit nice.
Yeah.
But someone made the point I read earlier today. There hasn't been a football weekend where everyone's been on Blue Sky yet.
True.
There's not been that kind of, how Twitter just goes like, and I probably won't go on it on Monday after the game, because I don't go on Twitter because it's just a nightmare after the match. Like, even canny people just lose a WhatsApp group I turn off after the match. I can't be arsed with that. I'm not more again. But it's all right. Yeah, it's good. It's nice enough.
Yeah.
I might sign up and have a look.
Yeah.
Have a little look. I haven't even signed up for Threads and that yet. I can't be arsed with any of this. I don't know what
it's like LinkedIn, but
I wouldn't bother, because give it a few months, it'll be dead as well. Like everything else that's tried to take off.
No, to be fair, like Blue Sky's worked a lot better than what Threads ever did, to be fair.
And does it look the same as what Twitter does? Or
very similar, very similar.
Yeah, basically.
Because X I'm finding, I know you're on about.
You just want a friend to talk to on there, don't you?
I go on for a lot of baseball stuff and NFL stuff, to be honest. But I'm even finding that's pushing just aggression shit. That is like, I'm like, no, I'm coming to see if Soto signed for the Yankees. Not that this guy is going to smash someone's head in. You know?
With Blue Sky, there's not a great deal of. I don't think there's any football clubs on there other that I've seen. Or like American football.
So is it just people? Like,
it's just like us. Like
at this moment in time, it's like
journalists.
Slowly.
There's a few journalists started.
Journalists have started. Yeah.
Well, a lot of journalists was like an open letter by a lot of journalists last week. Saying we're all coming off X because it's like just.
I seen the Guardian did. I just seen it on the news. I think the Guardian left.
There was a football club the other day that announced.
St. Pauli.
Is that who it was? They we're not on X anymore. We're shifting everything all across.
And what's the reason? Just because of Musk, right?
That'll probably be
Musk and Trump and all that.
So Scott's mentioned that Newcastle have got an account. It's there. It's dormant at the moment. I haven't posted, but it is there. So I think they'll probably give it a few weeks and see what happens. Then obviously not move across, because
the Saudis will see if it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Well, they're all mates with someone.
They're all mates, yeah. Straight on it.
The way the weekend.
Jules, I'm going to end it on this one. It's for you, Deka. She says, Deka can't even find the Telegram chat, lads.
Might need that canal. I'm not the new Telegram, such as it is.
To be fair, I haven't been in for a long time.
I'm becoming what I thought I wouldn't become, and it's just this, like, I'm 40-year-old, and I'm just like,
47
I'm on Twitter. Oh, X, sorry. And that's about enough, really. You know what I mean? I post some pictures on Facebook now, but there's loads of other things out there that I'm just not on.
Liam Knowles has said most of German teams have left now.
Yeah, I did say a graphic. I don't think they've gone to Blue Sky, though. I think they're probably gone to Threads.
Threads.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Again, feeling old. My lass obviously teaches college students, and she said she had like a family chat going, and they went, "Oh, where's that on or something?" And she went, "Oh, it's just on iMessage. Like we've got like people in there," and they went, "Oh, so old." And they're like, she went, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "You just don't do that. Like you just don't have an iMessage chat. You have it on WhatsApp."
Do you know what blows
my mind? And I'm like,
even WhatsApp chat? Is WhatsApp is like old school now. It's all
just
message
on Snapchat.
Oh, Snapchat, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's how old we are, boys.
It's great because everyone that I want has got iMessage at that time. Just everything posting there. It's great.
iMessage, is that the Facebook Messenger?
No, that's the iPhone.
Text.
Right.
Sorry, a text.
I've not sent a text.
Do you know what's really weird though?
Well, it's not a text.
Have you got certain people that you'll only message?
It's like WhatsApp, but in messages.
Have you got like certain people that you'll only message on WhatsApp? And certain people that you'll only message as a text message?
Yeah, I've got it. Chris is the only person I ever messaged on that. Everything is on WhatsApp.
Well, on message, so you don't use the text?
No.
So you don't use iMessage?
No.
Are all of your friends on Android?
Yeah, my messages: Microsoft, Chris Wallace, Clothes, Oddballs, me, Flu Jab, as that Santander.
So but do you know if you sent a message on your iPhone to my iPhone, it would be in blue rather than green?
Yeah, because that's data rather than grandpa.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. So I've got my family chat in there, my mum and dad, for example. So I could send one photograph and it'll go to both my parents rather than WhatsApp, for example.
But that only works if they're all
absolutely.
on Apple.
I totally agree.
That's why.
But when she mentioned that, they were like, "Oh, you don't do that. It's really, really old school." And I'm thinking, I thought it was pretty cool. I think it was all right, really. But again, it's just showing me age, isn't it? That's what it is.
To be fair, groups I don't do it. iMessage groups.
But that's because people have got Androids.
I've never said
true. But even if I knew they've all got
an iPhone, WhatsApp.
Yeah.
No, that's fair enough.
WhatsApp's it's cross.
It's cross-platform.
Platform. Yeah.
No, it really is true. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and there is so many different apps out there to communicate with someone. It's
Telegram and Discord.
All this is just so much.
But I can't find the Telegram group either. I don't know if I've done something wrong.
But if you want us to mod or skin,
your dad found it.
I'm here all day.
And he managed to change it. So if people don't know this story, Stephen Best Senior, it is, isn't it?
It is.
Came in the Telegram group, being there seconds, and he managed to change the GallowgateShots logo profile to a picture of himself.
Very narcissistic, me dad. Like
unbelievable. I took a screenshot and went, "Bessie, is this your dad?" Yep. What's he done?
And when he started sharing those links, that thing's got a bit interesting.
That was my dad. That was sharing them. But anyway, let's call it a night, boys. Thanks very much, everybody who has joined us. Plenty more stuff coming this week as well. You'll have return of match previews. So the lads will be recording one of those on Wednesday night, I believe it is. I'm looking at getting a West Ham fan on at some point to interview them about their season.
Danny Dyer.
Get Danny
Dyer on.
Yeah. We're not going to be here next Monday.
Yeah, we're not going to be here next Monday. Yeah,
no Monday podcast next week because obviously we're at home.
Back on Wednesday, for a new podcast which we're doing as well. I'm not sure if that's going to be live or pre-recorded, but you'll see if you follow it. You'll see if you get a notification to say that we're going live. But yeah, other than that, we'll see you next time. Watch what he's doing. Ta-ra.
All the best.